Hey, 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 hope everyone is having an awesome evening. Guys, got something big to show you for this show today. A lot of clips on the drones, lots of news, lots of things breaking. Let's start out with a post, though, that was made on X just a few minutes ago by Patrick Webb. He literally posted this 30 minutes ago. Take a look. Breaking. Drones spotted above New Jersey and New York are, quote, spy drones from China, according to the House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Michael McCall. Wow. How about that? Insane. Absolutely insane. All right. Y'all take a look at this first clip, guys. Intel agencies were looking to brief lawmakers on these mystery drones. Y'all take a look.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around New Jersey ports?
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows.
And that says a lot. That was President-elect Trump weighing in on these mysterious drones. This as lawmakers get set for a briefing on the matter by intel agencies, and that is expected to happen just moments from now. Jennifer Griffin is live at the Pentagon. She's got more on this for us. Jennifer, what has the reaction been so far from the Pentagon?
Well, Sandra, the Pentagon says it has tracked these drone sightings and found that most, if not all, are benign. In a joint statement last night, DHS, FBI, the FAA, and DOD say the number of drones in the air are not new, adding there are more than 1 million drones lawfully registered with the FAA in the United States, and there are thousands of commercial, hobbyist, and law enforcement drones lawfully in the sky on any given day.
As you saw in the joint statement last night from 4 different federal agencies, our assessment to date, based on the information that we've seen, the people we've talked to, the tips we've corroborated, this is lawful, legal aviation activity, manned and unmanned, drones, civil aviation. We've seen nothing that leads us to a different conclusion.
Quote, we assess that the sightings to date include a combination of lawful commercial drones, hobbyist drones, and law enforcement drones, as well as manned fixed-wing aircraft, helicopters, and stars, mistakenly reported as drones. We have not identified anything anomalous and do not assess the activity to date to present a national security or public safety risk over the civilian airspace in New Jersey or other states in the Northeast. That's from that letter from those 4 agencies last night. So far, there have been 5,000 alleged drone sightings reported to the FBI. The Pentagon says only about 100 are deemed credible enough to investigate. Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio, had to shut down its airspace for 4 hours on Saturday to investigate.
We had 5,000 sightings, right? So maybe 12 people see the same aircraft. That's 12 different sightings that we have to work through. It doesn't mean 12 different aircraft. There was a story a couple of days ago about a Coast Guard cutter seeing like 30 or 40 drones following it. We did the forensics on that. It turns out it was air traffic going into JFK International Airport and not drones at all.
In September of 2023, Sandra, the FAA changed the rules so that drones could fly at night. DHS says that may be one of the reasons why now people are seeing more drones than they did before, especially from dawn to dusk. Sandra?
Yeah, but I guess the question then becomes, why do those drones need to be flying at night? And I know one of our upcoming guests is going to address just that. Jen Griffin on that for us. Thank you so much.
I'm Steve Duke.
Wow. Guys. Okay, well, it's getting crazier, and all this is breaking as we're speaking. Insane, the number of drones that are being launched right now. And guys, this is the big issue with this. This is a huge, I repeat, huge national security concern. But really, before we dive into it, though, I want to give a big shout out to Deanne, Joel, for joining in the chat. Thanks, guys, for joining the stream. Appreciate y'all's support. Guys, if you're watching this video, leave a like. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm. And hit me up in the chat. Let me know you're watching. Appreciate everybody for coming and joining the show tonight. let's talk about that national security concern, guys, because this is not good. Why are these drones being spotted now, and who is responsible? I've got another clip for you here in a second because, again, all this is breaking right now. All this is coming out. We're going to need all day tomorrow to comb through all this information. But the big question is, are there foreign adversaries that are testing the U.S. defenses, or is this a domestic issue that's being ignored? The government's response to this is raising more questions than answers, and it's absolutely, it's a shame, guys. It is an absolute shame what our government is, the way our government is handling this. But then again, are we even surprised, considering the administration has dropped the ball on everything, from the border to the drones? So anyway, this is the big thing with our government, guys, is we have to have transparency. The DHS, the FBI, the FAA, the DOD, they all come together and they issue a joint statement, which is, by the way, extremely rare. So if this isn't a big issue, why are they all coming together to make this joint statement? How much information will they really share with lawmakers and the public? Because Americans deserve transparency when it comes to potential threats in our skies. Come on. This is just crazy to me. But anyway. All right. Check out this next clip, guys. I'm telling you, more and more stuff is coming out as we speak. The Pentagon was confronted on these mysterious drone sightings. And y'all take a look at the official response.
The Pentagon's briefing now, and the very first question was about this drone activity. Let's listen here.
What about the ones that are flying over military bases at this point? Have there been any possibilities of collecting what sort of information these drones are doing, or anything like that?
Yeah, again, just to kind of put this into context, and I know that our colleagues at the White House, FAA, DHS, FBI have all made this point. So over 1 million drones registered in the United States, and on any given day, approximately 8,500 drones are, in flight. And so the vast majority of these drones are going to probably be recreational or hobbyist. They're going to be commercial drones, used in things like architecture, engineering, farming. Or they could be used for law enforcement. Is it possible that some of those drones could be up to malign activity? It's entirely possible, but the vast majority, that is not, the case. And in the case of drones flying near or over U.S. military installations, that in and of itself, just given the volume of drone flights we see on a given day, is not something that's new. We take all of those seriously. We will typically, when we detect them, attempt to classify them and take appropriate measures. Is it possible that some of those are surveilling? Absolutely. But can you make that assumption in every case? Not necessarily. So in each case, commanders have the authority, installation commanders and authorities have the authority to respond appropriately, and will continue to do that.
Click here.
Wow. So did that really make you feel confident? Because after watching that, I'm not confident, like, at all. And really what this shows me, guys, is that we have a technological vulnerability. These mystery drone sightings are highlighting a growing concern, and that is the United States prepared for modern aerial threats? Or are we falling behind in counter-drone technology while our adversaries are gaining the upper hand? That's my big question, my big concern. I'm curious to know what y'all think, so hit me up, guys, in the chat. Let me know what your thoughts are. That's exactly a great question, Deanne. Why are they lying? What are they trying to hide here? Again, I refer you, here I'm going to share it one more time, in case you weren't here when we started. Y'all check this out. Look at this. Patrick Webb, 4:29 p.m., drones spotted above New Jersey and New York are, quote, spy drones from China, according to House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Michael McCaul. Wow. That's insane. So there you go, guys. I'm gonna have to comb through this again. You're gonna have to give me another day to figure out what in the world is happening, but That's the breaking kind of headline right now. They're from China. They're from China. Let that sink in for a minute. These are spy drones from China. So was all the talk about a mothership and everything, was it really just everybody losing their mind, or was this maybe a legitimate concern? Again, I'm still concerned that the United States maybe is falling behind when it comes to anti-drone technology if they can't do anything about this. Anyway, all right. Moving on, I want to show you all this clip. Luigi Mangione, the guy who shot the United Health CEO in cold blood, was indicted today. So I want to show you a little bit of what's going on with that case. Definitely something that we're following here on the channel. So check this out.
So Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg and NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch are they're speaking right now after announcing the indictment of Luigi Mangione for the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Let's hear what they have to say.
The life was lost. We are here to announce that Luigi Mangione, the defendant, is charged with 1 count of murder in the first degree and 2 counts of murder in the second degree, including 1 count of murder in the second degree as an act of terrorism for the brazen, targeted, and premeditated shooting of Brian Thompson, who, as you know, was the CEO of United Healthcare. This case was made possible by the collaborative efforts of the phenomenal public servants you see before you today, and so many others who are not here. I'm honored to lead the Manhattan District Attorney's Office and privileged to serve alongside Assistant District Attorneys Joel Seidman, Kristen Bailey, and Zachary Kaplan, who were working from the outset, hand in hand, with the greatest police department in the world. The chief of our trial division, Lisa Del Pizzo, and the deputy chief, Chris Prefos, provided sage oversight and direction. And I want to acknowledge our high technology analysis unit. There was a lot to be processed here. Steve Moran, in particular, who heads that, and Marco Popic. We are privileged here at the DA's office to work every day with the phenomenal public servants at the NYPD. It has been a distinct pleasure to work besides Commissioner Tisch, an exemplary partner, and Chief of Detectives Joseph Kinney. Almost every day we're in touch, and his leadership is second to none. And then Deputy Commissioner Rebecca Weiner, who, as I tell her, there are a lot of challenging things happening in the world, and I sleep better at night knowing that she is the Deputy Commissioner in charge of terrorism. The detectives on this, out doing the courageous frontline work, Detective Oscar Diaz, Detective Curcio, exemplary, the finest. It wasn't just those of us here in New York. I want to acknowledge the great work of our partners in Altoona, the Altoona Police Department, the Blair County District Attorney's Office, the governors of New York and Pennsylvania, the FBI, and of course, the brave members of the public who answered the call when our great commissioner put out the call for their assistance. This was a frightening, well-planned, targeted murder that was intended to cause shock and attention and intimidation. It occurred in one of the most bustling parts of our city, threatening the safety of local residents and tourists alike, commuters and business people just starting out on their day. Let me say a bit more about the charges. They include 1 count of murder in the first degree as a killing in furtherance of terrorism, 2 counts of murder in the second degree, 1 charging that the killing was done as an act of terrorism, and the second pertaining to the fact that the killing was intentional. The maximum penalty possible for murder in the first degree and murder in the second degree as an act of terrorism is life without parole. The maximum penalty for murder in the second degree is 25 years to life. There are additional counts as well. A number of criminal possession of weapon charges, 2 counts in the second degree, 4 counts in the third degree, 1 count in the fourth degree, and a count of criminal possession of a forged instrument in the second degree.
Okay, real quick, we're going to watch a little bit more of this. But first of all, I just want to say that this really highlights the soft on crime policies, New York City, and some public safety concerns. And also, guys, hey, I appreciate everyone for joining the stream and watching with us tonight. Thanks for all the support. Hit me up in the chat. Let me know you're watching. But New York City's, guys, their continued struggle with rising crime rates highlights the failure of progressive soft on crime policies. This is a tragic case that underscores, though, that urgent need, guys, for tougher sentencing, stronger law enforcement support, accountability to ensure that criminals face the consequences of their actions and the public feels safe. The fact that a CEO could be gunned down in broad daylight in the middle of a robust New York City shows you how the policies in New York City enable these criminals to feel like they can do this kind of thing. And it's very sad, it's very unfortunate, and people need to wake up and realize that the policies aren't working, and we've got to make some changes. Let me know what your thoughts are on this case. Put a question there for you in the chat. Does this highlight deeper issues with rising crime in major cities like New York, or is this an isolated incident? So let me know what your opinion is. All right, let's watch just a little bit more of this.
Let me tell you a bit about the facts. On November 24th, we allege that the defendant arrived in New York City to murder Brian Thompson. After the defendant arrived in New York City on a bus at Port Authority, he checked into the hostel on the Upper West Side using the name Mark Rosario with a fake New Jersey ID. On the morning of December 4th, the defendant left the hostel, just after 5:30 a.m. and traveled to Midtown. For nearly an hour, we allege the defendant waited in the area near the Hilton Hotel, waiting for Mr. Thompson to appear. From 6:38 a.m. to 6:44 a.m., the defendant stood across from the entrance of the hotel on West 54th Street. When he saw Mr. Thompson, he crossed the street and approached him from behind. We allege he then took out a 9mm 3D printed ghost gun, equipped with a 3D printed suppressor, and shot him once in the back and once in the leg. The defendant then fled northeast on 54th Street and took an e-bike uptown before getting into a taxi that took him to West 178th Street and Amsterdam Avenue. On December 9th, the defendant was spotted at McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. The local police were notified, he was arrested, and he was found with a 9mm handgun, a suppressor, 2 ammunition magazines, and the same fake New Jersey ID he used at the hostel. I want to say a word about ghost guns. These weapons are increasingly proliferating throughout New York City and the entire country. Involving technology will only make this problem worse. Last year, over 80 ghost guns and ghost gun parts were recovered in Manhattan alone. The NYPD and the Manhattan DA's office have been leading in the interdiction of these ghost guns. And one thing I want to make clear, they're unserialized, they can be printed out, but as this case tragically makes clear, they are just as deadly as traditional firearms. This will remain a priority for us here in Manhattan. Finally, I know there have been questions about the extradition process. The latest that I can offer you is that the defendant is currently scheduled to appear in court in Pennsylvania on Thursday morning, first for a preliminary hearing on his Pennsylvania charges. Immediately to follow that will be an extradition hearing. We have indications that the defendant may waive that hearing, in which case he'd be brought to New York forthwith. In any event, we have been preparing on parallel paths, and before the hearing, we'll send to the governor of the state of New York the paperwork that would be necessary if he does not waive during that hearing. I now want to turn over to our great commissioner, and when I do so, I wanted to thank her for her partnership, not only on this matter, but on all we do every day together. Thank you.
Okay, and we're going to finish this video, but before we do, I just was thinking while he was talking that always the focus, like they're showing pictures of the defendant, right? They're showing pictures of the criminal. They're showing pictures of the bad guy. And it just makes me realize that the focus should be on the victims, not just the defendant. Cases like these, a lot of times the focus often shifts to the alleged perpetrator rather than honoring the victim. And I know that we made a whole nother video about how there's been a lot of hate directed at the CEO that was murdered. And I really think that that's inappropriate, guys. Was this guy a good guy? I don't know. But the fact is, he was gunned down in cold blood. He was a major contributor to the, the healthcare industry. I don't know how all he was involved, but the main thing is that we focus sometimes too much on the defendant, not enough on the victim. And that's not just in this case, but that's in all cases. It's really time for us to restore the justice systems that prioritize victims, that prioritize their families, and not the leniency of the accused. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents. And again, you don't have to agree with me, guys. That's why we got the chat. So hit me up. Let me know what your thoughts are. And yeah, that's a great question, Deanna. Why are they even allowed to make these kind of guns? And that's a whole nother thing, opening up the ghost guns case. Like, should we be allowed to create ghost guns in a free country? And where's the line when it comes the right to bear arms? Where's the line for that? Great question. Don't know if we have time to jump into that tonight. But let me know in the chat, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are. That's something good we could dive into. All right. Let's finish up this clip here. Some more interesting details about this whole case coming out.
Good afternoon, everyone. The unsealing of today's indictment brings us one step closer to securing justice for Brian Thompson and his family and affirming the primacy of the rule of law in the city of New York. NYPD detectives worked tirelessly to piece this case together. And along the way, the Manhattan DA's office made sure we had every legal tool available to us. Whether quickly providing subpoenas to assist with our evidence collection, or traveling with us to Altoona, Pennsylvania last week after the apprehension, our partnership made this a successful investigation. So I'd like to thank District Attorney Bragg and his team for their work in bringing this case forward. Part of that work included the relentless collection and analysis of surveillance video by our detectives, which ultimately produced a clear image of our suspect. That image was shared far and wide through the media, and thanks to an observant McDonald's customer and the employee who alerted the police, Mr. Mangione was quickly brought into custody. This outcome is why we always emphasize the critical role of the public in our public safety mission. So again, I want to thank everyone who saw something, said something, and did something. That is why we have a suspect in custody today. As DA Bragg said, Luigi Mangione is now formally charged and indicted for murder. And let me be perfectly clear. In the nearly 2 weeks since Mr. Thompson's killing, we have seen a shocking and appalling celebration of cold-blooded murder. Social media has erupted with praise for this cowardly attack. People ghoulishly plastered posters threatening the other CEOs with an X over Mr. Thompson's picture, as though he was some sort of a sick trophy. And yesterday, the New York Post reported that some extreme activists were circulating a deck of cards with other most wanted CEOs to be targeted for assassination. These are the threats of a lawless, violent mob who would trade in their own vigilantism for the rule of law that protects us all. Let me say this plainly. There is no heroism in what Mangione did. This was a senseless act of violence. It was a cold and calculated crime that stole a life and put New Yorkers at risk. We don't celebrate murders and we don't lionize the killing of anyone. And any attempt to rationalize this is vile, reckless, and offensive to our deeply held principles of justice. Now, as we await the extradition process in Pennsylvania to complete, we continue our public safety work here at home. That includes our focus on the growing threat of ghost guns, one of which was used in this attack. The NYPD remains committed to tracking down and removing these untraceable weapons from our streets. And we will do that work hand in hand with District Attorney Bragg here in Manhattan and in every other borough to ensure that those who possess, distribute, and use these weapons are held fully accountable. Finally, I want to again thank every member of the NYPD, uniform and civilian, working on this case, led, of course, by our great Chief Kenny, whether in Midtown North Squad, Homicide, Crime Scene Unit, Intelligence Bureau, and everywhere else. All of you contributed to today's indictment, and you've brought the Thompson family one step closer to justice in this case. Thank you.
We're going to take on-topic questions. Shana?
Sure. So, in its most basic terms, this was a killing that was intended to evoke terror. And we've seen that reaction. The statutory elements we can go into, but its most basic term, that's what this is. This was not an ordinary killing, not to suggest that any killing is ordinary, but this was extraordinary, and the New York State Legislature has, set out, both the paths that we talk about, both the murder one and murder two, and this we allege is certainly squarely within those statutes, which talk about intending to do exactly what we saw happen here.
Maybe Chief Kenny could get into this, but I'm wondering sort of the timeline between December 6th, when the FBI was notified by the San Francisco police about this missing person that was called in from Luigi's mother, the time that...
Okay, guys, we're going to cut it off right there. But, man, as they're talking again, I'm just like, this is absolutely insane to me that our country is coming apart at the seams, it seems like, when it comes around. Like, we shouldn't be debating this. A man was killed in cold blood, and people are rallying behind the perpetrator. All the memes, all the sick jokes, it's revolting, it's disgusting, it's insane. This is something that we should be able to all agree on, and for some reason, the country is just losing its mind over this. But what I was thinking at the very end of this video is why we need strong leadership so much right now. Because, it's fine to have a weak leader during peaceful times, during when everything's okay, when everything's all right. But when the world is in turmoil, when we're in troubling times, it's so important that we have a strong leader up at the top. And that's why I'm so optimistic about the future, because you can say what you want about Donald Trump, but he's the definition of a strong leader. And Joe Biden is the definition of weakness. He's the definition of incompetence. He's the definition of not going to do a thing. Right? But Donald Trump, he's different. He's completely different. And that's why in times of trouble, we've got to have a strong leader that will emerge. And that's exactly what we're getting in Donald Trump. These high-profile crimes erode the public's trust in local leadership. New York City officials have to go beyond press conferences. That's what I was seeing here. They've got to go past press conferences. They've got to provide meaningful updates with actions to deter this senseless violence in the future. Real leadership demands confronting crimes with decisive policies, not political platitudes. And I'll say it over and over and over and over again, guys, that this is absolutely insane that this is even a debate over whether, Luigi is a good guy or not. He's a bad guy. He's someone that lost his mind. He's mentally unstable, right? On all sides of it. And I'll also say this, that it leans over. Donald Trump isn't only going to get in there and fix, all that, but I'll tell you this, those drones we wouldn't be having all this drama over the drones. If Donald Trump was in office right now, he would do something about it. He would at least give us an update on what's going on, what's being prepped. But it seems like our military, it seems like our leadership has no idea what's going on with all the drones. And really that's what's more frustrating than anything. But anyway, Deanna, you're absolutely, 100%. You said Trump is a strong leader. That's right, 100%. I agree with you. That's it. He's a strong leader. Hey guys, I appreciate everybody for watching the video, watching the stream all the way through to the end. Y'all are the real ones. Let's go. So appreciate everyone. Thanks for leaving a like, supporting the channel. Hey, I'm here every weekday, every day. I try to be here on the weekends too, guys. Like, I'm just that crazy. 5 o'clock p.m. Central every single day. Let me know if y'all want longer videos. Right now I'm shooting for about 25-30 minutes per stream. If y'all want longer than that, we can go longer. If you like more of the bite-sized videos, we can do more of those. Whatever you think, guys. What is your preference on how to kind of absorb this information? But man, guys, it's been a great stream. I appreciate all the support, and just insane to me all the things that are breaking right now about the drones in China. The drones here in the U.S. that possibly could be coming from China. That's what I'm hearing right now. That's all the things that are popping up on the news, popping up on X, social media, all over the place, is that these drones are coming from China. And if that's true, guys, wow. That is crazy. All right. Hey, guys, y'all have a great one. Deanna, woo, let's go. Appreciate the support. Guys, let me know you're here in the chat. Hey, I'll see y'all tomorrow with another stream. We'll see. We're going to dig through all this information, try to figure out what's going on with these drones. Is it actually from China? Hopefully we'll have a very clear, straightforward answer for you tomorrow. We may have one right now. I just got to go dig through it. But anyway, hey, y'all have a great night. Spend some time with family. And I appreciate it.